Let's bring in Joani Reid, who's the Labour MP for East Kilbride and Straven. Good morning.
Good morning.
You were among the voices calling for this inquiry into grooming gangs. So tell us your reaction when we got this announcement yesterday.
Yesterday was a hugely significant moment for all the victims of child sex abuse in Scotland. They've been calling for this for years and they have been stonewalled and dismissed, and yesterday was their moment. So I think the praise to them has to come first and foremost. They've gone through the most horrific trauma and then had to really fight for what they want is simply truth and accountability. It was a long time coming, but I'm pleased now that we can say that we're getting a full public independent inquiry into organised child sex abuse in Scotland.
And from what you have heard from those victims and alleged victims, what do they want to come out of this? What are they expecting this inquiry to look at?
It's very simple, really. They want the truth. They want accountability from the organisations who dismissed them or who didn't investigate when the signs were quite clearly there that they were being exploited and abused by groups of men. And they want, I think, more than anything, to ensure that this doesn't ever happen again to any woman or girl in Scotland. The evidence has been mounting for years that Scotland does indeed face the same type of group-based organised child sex abuse as it has in England. And some of the evidence that I've seen in testimony that I've heard suggests that girls, particularly vulnerable girls who might have addiction problems or not, were dismissed, seen as unreliable. So we need a robust system that listens to these young women and ensures that the services that were designed to protect them actually do. But fundamentally, this is about truth, accountability, but ensuring that we protect our most vulnerable children.
What do you think the scale of this abuse might end up being revealed? What do you think this inquiry will end up unearthing?
I don't think anybody knows the answer to that question, unfortunately. From the data that I've seen, it not only is it underreported, it's not been reported at all. So I think that it's my belief that there are institutions like Police Scotland who have seen evidence of these crimes and for whatever reason chose not to record it in the way that it should have been. We have had two recent prosecutions of grooming gangs in Scotland, one in Glasgow, one in Dundee. We've had testimony from girls north of the border who've said that they were trafficked across the border into Glasgow and Ayrshire. So, ultimately we don't know because we've not been collecting the data at all. So there's a lot of work that has to be done.
And obviously, Police Scotland are not here to respond to that. This will all be part of what the inquiry looks into. Is there frustration that it's taken so long to get to this point, that there did seem to be disagreement about whether a Scottish-specific inquiry should happen in the first place? How are the victims who have come forward, who you've spoken to, feeling about all the politics that's gone on around this?
They feel very emotional. Obviously they welcome it, and they are delighted to say the least, but I think emotional would be the best way to describe how they're feeling. It's been quite a journey for the Scottish Government. When I first wrote to them over a year ago to suggest that we should be looking into this, I was told by people in the Scottish Government that Scotland is exceptional, that we're not experiencing the same group-based child sex abuse that they are in England, and that there was no need to look into it further. Then we were told that the ongoing reviews that are being done, particularly by Police Scotland internally, would be sufficient. Then there was a bizarre review which is ongoing that was announced just before Christmas, which deeply upset the victims. I would always go as far to say that they were re-traumatised because their big announcement was coming. They'd gone through retelling their stories after real trauma in their childhood, only to feel that they were being let down. Then we went through all the kind of psychodrama with Angela Constance, where the Justice Minister misled Parliament on this, but they felt that she wasn't held accountable. So, and then just their most recent position, merely weeks ago, was that they needed more evidence before they announced an inquiry. Obviously, that evidence has now indeed come to light, although typical of the Scottish Government, we don't know what that is. They've been quite secretive about it. It should have been laid before Parliament to allow victims to see it, and for other members of the Scottish Parliament to do their job and scrutinise it. But ultimately, we do have one now. But I do think there needs to be some conversation about how we got there, and people will make their own minds up about why it's been announced now.
About the speed and process getting to it in England as well. But just briefly, what do you think the remit of this inquiry should be, and have you got any expectation about timescale?
I have full faith in the chair, Professor Alexis Jay. She's a formidable woman. She's been involved in this for the last couple of months, and I don't think it's a coincidence that now a public inquiry has now been announced. I think she was probably behind the decision to do that. I have full faith that she will be able to write a robust terms of reference. I think the timescale is a tricky question. It's got to be it's got to have the scope and the time to delve into this properly, but also we need to have some sort of recommendations to reassure victims in due course. So, but I trust Alexis Jay. She's got the expertise. She's done this before to be able to write the terms of reference properly.
Joani Reid, Labour MP